we get down. If you want it, then we got it. We get the club popping, yeah, we sipping and we sliding. B.O.E. Club Rockets, yeah, you know where to find us. Get started on the floor.
What's up, everybody? I go by the name of JL Robinson. Y'all now tuning into the No Name Podcast. I got somebody who's been in the cut for a while, but I finally got an opportunity to catch up with him. Please introduce yourself.
What's going on, man? Wabu. I have a podcast, New Wabu Order. And yeah, I'm just happy to be here, bro. What's going on?
That's what's up, man. It's good to see you because we haven't been seeing you for a while because what was your last podcast?
Man, it was like in January.
Yeah,
like January.
So we filming right now in August, right? So it has been a whole 8 months, man. What's been going on with you?
Yeah, man. I just had some health issues I had to get straight. It took me out the game for a while. You know, I was probably almost there in the game in this podcast world. So I'm just coming back. The people asking for me. I gotta give them what they want.
Yeah, because when I see his podcast, he don't just have regular interviews on there. He has podcast interviews with politicians, really influential people in the community. Mm-hmm. And his podcast is very purposeful, man. When I watch his podcast, I always get something very insightful from it because it's just full of purpose. And it's man, I had to catch up with him to see what's going on because he was saying everybody hit him up in the inbox. You know, I hit him up as well. It's yo, what's going on? You know what I mean? So it's I'm just glad to have you on the show, bro.
I appreciate it. And that was part of what I was, when I'm doing a podcast, is New Wabu Order, right?
Okay.
But it's anything that's in my world. Mm. So whatever I love is what I spoke about, regardless of if other people didn't like it.
Right.
So I just incorporated that in that. And I looked at it I didn't start it for people to love it. It's only for the elite people to love. You get what I'm saying? A certain group to love it.
Those who get it. Yeah. And if you're around that type of energy, or if you're around those type of topics and conversations, then it's you already know what the conversations and the topics are about. So I get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're always going to get some people who are going to like some things just because other people like it.
Exactly. And if I thought the other way, I would be mad because there's always going to be, like you said, some people that don't like it and some people that like it. So when I put that energy out there, the people who don't like it, I'm cool with it already. All right, I already knew you was coming.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
It's you understand what your mission is, what you come here, what your purpose is. And it's you already know there's going to be some people who going to like it and not like it.
Yes, sir.
So,
yes, sir.
I got you.
Yes, sir.
Yo,
yes,
how many podcasts do you think you've done already?
Oh, man, I did a crazy amount. I got so many that I didn't even drop. I got some that were just completely lost. I don't know where they at.
Yeah.
I think they just got lost in the matrix, for real.
Yeah.
I got a real good one with the chief and editor of the Final Call magazine.
Wow.
You know that the brothers sell the Final Call on the corners and the pies, the Brothers in the Nation.
That's them?
Yeah, that's the Final Call newspaper. And I got the chief and editor of that newspaper.
Yeah.
And I don't know where that show went. It just I think the government deleted it or something. It just the brother, so he's close to Farrakhan.
Yeah.
Real close.
Yeah.
So I got information on there in that realm that you probably can't get nowhere else.
Right. I feel that type of information is needed because one thing that saddens me is, as far as my city is concerned, and I feel we need to do better with this, is every time I see a post online, somebody always got something disrespectful to say about those brothers who are in suits. You know what I'm saying, out there with the pamphlets and passing out information. I think we got to do better as a community and treat them people better, bro. It's
you got to think in our community, especially in this city, most people are whitewashed. It is what it is. So they see them people showing black excellence. They're gonna be against it because you got the mind of a white man. So they're gonna be against it, and it's getting better, but for the most part, most people still think like that.
I understand. And
y'all wear a suit to church every Sunday.
I think, you know, like one thing that I miss the most is, you know, I got a lot of my older folks who've already passed away. And it's like, I remember this one time, this Jehovah Witness lady, you know, she had the spirit of like my grandma. So it's like, I ended up building a relationship with her just because I needed older people around. So like when I see, you know, the older heads on the block and they being very productive, because these aren't the crackheads. These aren't the strung out people. Mm-hmm. These are the older productive members of society that is giving people, the younger people, game. And it's like, I think our community could do better of trying to receive information instead of always following the latest trends. And just because that's not cool, it's like, you gotta, you know, say like negative things about those people. I don't respect that, yo. Yeah. That's just, I don't know. I think that's just like the nature of the beast. Yeah. Like that's gonna happen. That's why you have to, I know it might sound cheesy to some people, but you gotta align yourself with positive people. Yeah. And keep that energy around you. You know, most of my life I was negative. Okay. Like, you get what I'm saying? So now in my latter years, I'm more positive, and I think it's cool to be positive, man. I wish I thought like this when I was 20, when I was 15. Yeah. Like, you know, I wish I thought like this, but you know, you got to go through your steps in life, because sometimes you need a little bit of negativity. Okay. You need that sometimes. That's just to balance it out. Yeah. If you think, you know what I mean, if you coming from different schools of thought, you know, that 180 degrees plus that 180 degrees equals negative and positive. Yin and yang. Yeah, equals 360. Gotcha. Which completes the cipher. Mm. You get what I'm saying? But yeah, Jamie, man, I definitely dig this podcast, the No Name joint. What made you come up with that name, No Name? Well, I was thinking to myself, like, as an engineer, I already record artists. So I was like, I might as well be a podcaster, because we have great conversations. And it's like, more people need to hear of these great conversations that we have. So the first podcast that I've ever done, I was like, you know, I don't have a name to my podcast. Yeah. So it's like, that's where the name came from, because like, I didn't want that to stop me from not doing a podcast just because I ain't have a name. So I was like, yo, this is something I'm just going to run with, yo. Figuring out the name of your podcast or your business or anything is the hardest thing in the world. Yeah. You might go through 50 million. That's like figuring out your rap name when you rap. Yeah. It's like you're going to go through different names. Yeah. And like my joint, New Wabu Order Podcast. Like, I was thinking about a name for months and couldn't come up with nothing. I kept thinking of stuff that was already out. Like, so I'm like, man, I can't drop a podcast and I don't have a name. So I'm thinking, ever since MySpace, I always put New Wabu Order up on things. And I'm like, let me just use that. I've been branding that forever. Right. So let me just use that name, New Wabu Order. My name already is Wabu. It's been a going on joke with people that know me from back in the days. They always say, man, you in the Illuminati. Like, so I'm like, I'm going to run with that. Okay. Because me having knowledge of self at a young age, and when I moved down south, no one had knowledge of self. I'm gonna keep it real. No one that I knew. Okay. So I used to tell people all of this stuff now that they see online, and they come to me like, yo, how did you know that back in the days? Man, you must be in the Illuminati and stuff like that. I used to tell them about the Illuminati. Yeah, yeah.
Like back in the days.
Yeah.
And they oh, you crazy. You know what I mean? That's when, like, when I first moved here, everybody believed the white man was God. I'm gonna keep it real. That's just that was just the structure of the people down south that I knew. They believed the white man was God. So when I came and told them something totally different, I was outcast for it, of course. Oh, nigga, you trying to kick knowledge? We trying to be dumb. That was just the going thing. Like, the ignorance was the going thing. That was the cool thing. It wasn't cool to read a book.
It reminds me of my first time of meeting spiritual people. I'm shooting a podcast right now. So it reminded me of when I first met spiritual people. It's like I always thought they was weird. You know what I mean? Because they wasn't the normal, you know, like they smell different. They vibe is totally different. And it's like, right now it's weird to me because I don't understand, but I've never said to myself, these spiritual people, they're evil. It never occurred to me to say,
I was called devil worshiper. Yeah. I worship the devil, and I was called all of that type stuff. Like,
but now that we in a society where it's like we welcome the spirituality.
Yeah. Now it's some spirituality I can't get with. Like, I ain't with the all of that type stuff. I ain't really with that, but it has its place. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. It's like I'm more. I still stick to the same core values I stuck to since I was 12 years old. Got you. The same exact values, which I'm going to probably have forever. Now, I respect other people's beliefs, and I came a long way to respecting other people's beliefs. Because before, I just disrespected most people's beliefs. But now I respect it. Because who the hell am I? Not to respect somebody. Like, who you think you are? Yeah. Like, not to respect somebody's beliefs. Yeah. And it just causes problems. So I don't want none of that.
I've learned that, like, say for instance, as far as like principles and beliefs, I always believe that the best promotion is to practice it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like
you become of that world, like, and then people see.
Yeah. So I don't really like. I still have trouble like judging people, and I'm trying to get better at that. But like I always say, there's always something to learn from people. Yeah.
It is. Like, you know the saying, we can learn from a child. Yeah. Like, you can learn from anybody. Sometimes you just have to have a filter on what's poison lessons and what's not. You get what I'm saying?
Right. Everything isn't helpful information. You got to have some kind of discernment on it. Yeah, I understand.
Yes, exactly.
Because, you know, I seen Antonio Stovall make some comments, and I'm paraphrasing.
Shout out to Antonio.
That, you know, just because it's a fad now, you know, everybody's getting into this, you know, holistic thing, this spiritual thing. But like,
every girl is a witch now. Every woman studies magic and has become a witch, but they still go to church every Sunday.
Yeah, so
the witching ain't witching.
So it's like, you know, have some discernment for people, you know, and the information that they put out, because I always believe that, you know, you could tell how people are about the fruits they bear. So So you could say whatever, but you know, a cherry tree is a cherry tree.
Yeah, yes sir.
But since I got you in the building, I always wanted to ask you this question, because I look up to you in this space of being a podcaster. Shoot. Like, what do you think some things that have helped you be consistent?
Damn, that's a good question. Just because this is what I really want to do. Like, I feel like this is like podcasting is my mutant ability. You know what I mean? I feel like this is what I'm good at. And I feel like I got potential to be the best ever. That's just how I feel. Yeah. I feel like I got potential to be the best ever. And hopefully one day I'll prove it. Hopefully one day I could prove it Like, I want people to be like, yo, Wabu is the best at this podcast. That's like anything I ever done, I try to prove that I'm the best. Because in my mind, I'm already the best. Like, in my mind, nobody's better than me. Like, that's what I put in my mind. Like, you know what I mean? So I'm just trying to, but I know I need a lot of work in a lot of areas. So I'm not that thrown off to not believe that I need a lot of work in certain areas.
From what I'm getting at is if you're gonna do anything, you first got to ask yourself at what level you gonna do it at.
Yes.
So if you're gonna do this thing, why not do it to the best of your ability?
Yeah, and that goes to anybody.
Yeah,
like, everybody should feel like that. It's not just excluded to me.
Yeah.
Everybody should feel like that. But that's just how I feel. Like, that's just how I feel. And probably if I was younger, it would really be crazy. Like, you know, now I got grown up things to do and I can't give my all to podcasting. But if I was able to give my all to podcasting, it would be on.
Like if you had the ability to go back, you would like do that full time.
Yeah.
Like you would probably go twice as harder.
Oh yeah. I definitely would do it full time. Like, I first started podcasting. I was doing like this thing called Focus Radio and 540 Radio.
I remember.
And I got introduced to podcasts from there when hardly black people didn't know about podcasting. Mostly white people knew about it. And I met down at the collab. I met this dude. He had a podcast. And I'm like, yo, what the hell is a podcast?
Yeah.
So I'm like, is this just talk radio? He just talking.
Yeah.
I love the pop shit and talk. So I'm like, yo, what's this about? And what he talking about? I went and listened to his joint one day while he was doing it. And he was talking about Legos.
Yeah.
It's a huge world in Legos. Like, it's a huge world. And I'm like, man, he got like 13,000, 14,000 people listening.
Him just talking about Lego.
Just talking about Legos.
Yeah.
Like, not for real. He was just talking about Legos. So I'm like, man, like, that's something I could do. Talking about whatever I want to talk about.
Yeah.
And I asked him, I said, what can you talk about? Like, you got to come on here and talk about stuff like this? He was like, nah, you could talk about anything you want to talk about.
Yeah.
So then I started then listening to this joint. I don't know if you remember this, Blog Talk Radio.
Tell me about it.
Blog Talk was it was sort of like a podcast. You do it over your phone. And you make a show. Like, you do a blog, an audio blog. It was called Blog Talk Radio, and people call a number and listen to your show, and you could go live and stuff like that. So I started listening to Blog Talk Radio, and I always, like, people that know me know I've always, like, remember the DVD era?
Yeah.
I used to get every single DVD.
Yeah.
Every single, and magazines, when the Source magazine, Double XL, I used to get every single one. And I just look at them. So I had so much information on that. That's why when I like interview somebody, I take a piece of everything that I ever watched that I liked. Yeah. And I implement that into my style of interviewing, which I like calling conversations.
Got you. So what are some other things that make your conversations more interesting when you interview people?
I try to hit every emotion with that person. Like, I like asking them a tough question, but then I like asking them some real sad stuff, some real positive stuff, and like to see the emotions. It's times I've like had these conversations with people and they start crying. Either we cut the cameras off or whatever, or they start getting real emotional, or they start saying stuff like, hold up, man, you could mess your career up. We can't put this out here.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? They start
So not being afraid to like push the envelope a little bit.
Yeah, but I don't try to go too far.
Gotcha.
I think I just don't like that.
Gotcha.
Like I don't like, you know, I like to go by their facial expression.
Gotcha.
Like if they got that face like, yo, let's slow down, let's chill out.
Yeah.
Like that, then I'ma do that.
Yeah. I've asked some questions where, you know, people was like, you know, I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. But I always try to tell people that I'm interviewing that it's not for shock value. You know what I'm saying? So like I'm just asking questions because I may be genuinely concerned about it. You know, like this one dude I interviewed, it didn't make it in the clip. I edited it out, but you know, I was asking him about this girl that he was with before that he wasn't with now. And I was like, you know, because she was helping him out doing the social media thing or whatever. Mm-hmm. So she did business in that capacity. So I was just asking about her type. You know what I mean? So I get it.
Yeah. And I definitely asked them in the beginning, is there things you don't want to talk about? And they'll tell me what it is, or most people say, yo, you can say anything.
Until it comes
until it come up. Like, so, and like more famous, like the famous people, a lot of them kind of was on the spot that I interviewed. Like, so I wasn't able to really, some of them I wasn't able to really go in the way I wanted to go in.
Yeah.
So I kept it, you know, just regular. Hey, when you dropped this album, how did you feel?
Yeah, the typical questions.
The typical questions, like I wasn't able to, I might have didn't do no research before the interview. So I couldn't really say what I really wanted to say, because I like to do a lot of research and then come up with something you like, yo, how did you know that? Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. I love doing that.
Or what I'm learning now is that like sometimes it may be best to let somebody else interview the person, because they may know, like, say for instance, you know, there's like the ultimate fan of an artist, right? Imagine if that ultimate fan got a chance to interview the artist. Yeah. Like they already naturally have that passion within them. So I don't mind, like if anybody's watching, like if I have people on my podcast, or I'll let y'all know that I'm having somebody on my podcast. If y'all are really passionate about it, I wouldn't mind letting other people host, just because they may bring out a certain person that I wouldn't. Because,
and that's big if you letting the best person for the job. Like, if you could do this better than me, why not let you do it? You get what I'm saying? Especially at this particular time.
It's about the results I'm trying to produce. When you got somebody that's sitting in the seat that's really passionate and done their homework about you, we have great conversations. Like, for example, I was, go upstairs, please. No, go upstairs. Thank you. So, some other time, once I'm done with the podcast, all right? Go upstairs, please. Thank you. So my job is to produce the best results. So a lot of times that entails me getting the most passionate people in here, because I had Mia Blanca, I was recording her, and we was already vibing in the studio, already having great conversations, right? Yeah. So all we did was take all those conversations and just transferred it into the podcast, and it's like, it was like seamlessly, it was easy to do that, because I've seen a podcast that she was on previously before, and it's like, it's just, you know, a person starting off having a podcast, and then it seemed like they were unprepared. So it's like, we don't want those awkward moments to be like.
Do you get a lot of inboxes and calls about people saying they wanted to do a podcast?
Not yet.
Oh man, I get them all the time. And like, I tell people like, yo, just do it. But you know, people want me to stop doing what I'm doing to help them put out a podcast. And I'm like, hold up, I'm not where I want to be. Like, you know what I mean? I'm not where I want to be, so I can't help you. Like, or people want to, yo, that person you interviewed, or that person you interviewed, let me get their number. Like, nah, I can't do none of that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's like, nah, I can't just give you their number. Or, I got to do it like this. Or then people try to make a competition out of it.
That's crazy.
Yeah, like, you gonna get them all cause you know all the behind the scenes stuff. That's what I lack in. Like, you know, I'd probably be 300-400 shows in.
Yeah.
If I knew all that type stuff.
Yo, can I be honest with you? Like, no matter, like, say for instance, whether I'm making beats, engineering, DJing, or whatever field that I'm crafted in, I never once feel like I'm competing with somebody. I got too much passion in my spirit, to be like competing with people, because like I can see something you doing and it could just be fascinating, bro. And it's like, it's hard for me to hold back my fascination about what somebody doing, yo. And it's like, I remember one time we was talking on the phone and I was like, dang, it's sad that this circumstance is not allowing you to do your podcast. What can I do to help?
You definitely said that. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I'm too passionate about what you got going on to be like, oh man, I'm glad he's not doing it. So now I'm gonna up my podcast. You know what I mean?
I wish more people thought like that. Like, and competition be good, because I look at it like I feed off of energy. So I'm like, oh, they doing their thing. Oh, that's what's up. Let me do my thing a little bit more. Let me, without hating. And whoever done a podcast, especially locally here, I've called them or inboxed them and congratulated them.
Yeah.
Any one of them could tell you that. Like, he congratulate. Yo, it's dope. Yo, your joint is.
Dre Elway was like, he wanted to get you on his podcast.
Yeah. That's my boy Dre.
Yeah, we're gonna set that up.
Yo, he one of the funniest dudes in the world, man. He is funny.
Shout out to the pregame podcast.
And he don't stop.
Yeah.
Like his funniness, you know how people be like, all right, chill.
Yeah,
Dre just keep going. Like, that's when he gonna keep going more crazy.
Yeah.
Nah. Shout out to their joint. Their joint is dope. And I've seen some people. Then I seen some people that dropped a couple of episodes and they just stopped. And I was like, damn, I was intrigued. Like, what's going on? But I understand life be lifing.
Well, so, they say you can tell that you're doing it seriously if you get past 10 podcasts.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why I don't want to say I'm hurrying up, but it's like, if somebody need a podcast done, I'm getting the podcast done just because I got to get the experience under my belt.
Get out of that 10, right?
Yeah.
That terrible 10. Like,
Cause now you figure out, like, when you do a podcast, you got to look back at it and you got to say, what are the things that I could do better than previously before? And what I realized, one tool to help me is that I got to take my phone and record myself talking, right? And then I listen to my audio by itself, and then I look at me as I'm talking, right? So it's like I'm learning that, I got to synchronize the way I talk, and then I got to also synchronize my facial expressions at the same time, you know what I mean? Because like there's some podcasts I did where it's like I'm looking down at my phone, but yet I'm talking to people at the same time, and it's like,
Like, my wife tell me this, like, when you say your facial expressions, my wife always tell me, like, my face say it all. Yeah. So, like, even if I'm lying, my face gonna tell the truth. Like, so, like, I had to get that straight. Like, I know what you're saying. I had to get my facial thing straight, because I could be talking to somebody and I'm thinking they dead lying. I'm like, yeah, that's the truth. But my face is like,
you got the nigga please face.
Yeah, I'm like doing one of them joints. Like, I'm like, yeah. But now podcasting has become fun and it's become therapeutic. Yeah. It's just like like you talking to your shrink. Like, you know what I mean? I know for me, that's how it feels for me. I can't speak on nobody else. But like, it's definitely become therapeutic. Doing anything you love. To me, this is like being a rapper.
I think this is what we need, because I feel like, like me and you had an issue recently before online, and it's like, being online, you don't really get the opportunity to have like context. Exactly. But like when you face to face with people, you can facial expressions.
That's why I kind of hate putting anything personal or sensitive things. If people know, they've never seen me argue online with nobody. But recently, I put up a meme. I didn't create the meme of Kamala Harris. She had the hot sauce, and like she's overdoing it, trying to act like she's a foundational Black American.
Yeah.
So that made a lot of people mad, and people was going off about that. I know anything about politics. Black people, we get real sensitive over politics, and we make these parties, the Democratic or Republican, we transfer those things into our nationalities.
Yeah.
Like you'll hear Black people say crazy stuff like, I'm not Black, I'm a Democrat. Like what? Like I've heard that. Like, and through the years, I feel like us as far as Black people, we need to put out, I'm Black first before anything. Even before your religion. Because everyone else do that. We tried being whatever religion we was first. We tried even being a Democrat, Republican, independent. You hear a joker say, I ain't Black, I'm independent. Like, we tried all of those things, and they not working for us.
Right. So I get what you're saying. It's more so of like, it's okay to be Black first, because when it comes to everybody else, they're okay with that they're putting their race first. Yeah. That's just what it is. That's just like, you're going to put your household first, right? Yeah. Nothing wrong with it. Nobody's going to tell you you're wrong for putting your family first. Like if you tell me like, yo, nah, we can't do this podcast. I got something to do with my family. I can't say you're wrong, Jamie. Like you're wrong. You shouldn't put your family first. Like how that sounds? You're gonna be like, yo, what type of dude is you? Like you get what I'm saying? Like that's just what we have to do as a unit. It's like we're cultured to put everybody else as a priority.
Everybody else first. We think about everybody else. Like just our culture and but we don't think about each other. Oh, we hate each other with a passion. Somebody right now will come and bust my head right now. Yeah. I guarantee you they won't touch their oppressor.
Yeah. And,
I guarantee that.
And I wanna say this. It's gonna be uncomfortable, right? Yeah. But it's necessary to say, right? Because when it comes to like people, like let's say gangs, for example, it's okay for them to terrorize the whole neighborhood.
Black gangs are all white supremacist gangs.
And then when they terrorize the whole neighborhood, we ain't supposed to say something because that falls under snitching. You know what I mean? So that gives them the full immunity to run around terrorizing the neighborhood.
Black gangs, modern black gangs, let me make that clear, are all white supremacist gangs. Because think about what the black gangs do. When they kill, who they kill?
Us.
Only black people. When they rape, who they raping? Only black people. When they steal, rob, all of that, they only doing black people. They won't dare mess with no white gangs, Latino gangs, none of them. So, and I'm against anybody who's against black people. So now, give or take because I know people gonna get mad about me saying this because everybody's in the gang for some reason. But most of these gangs started out on a black power trip. And for the two biggest black gangs, before y'all get mad, before y'all look at this, first look at Bastards of the Party. And I guarantee you it don't line up with the core values on how you think right now. You wouldn't even want to be in the Bloods or Crips if you looked at Bastards of the Party. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying? Those are our two biggest gangs, the Bloods and the Crips. But y'all gotta just spread the evil around evenly. If you gonna kill and rape black people, y'all gotta do it to white people and Latinos and everybody else. Y'all got to be even with it. Mm-hmm. If y'all gonna do all of that stuff to my people, y'all gotta start doing it to the others too.
Right.
And watch how somebody be mad that I'm saying that.
Or I'm gonna also ask this question: is it possible that gangs can repurpose themselves? collectively.
Yes, but they've been infiltrated so much by outside influences. So it'll be hard, but I believe it. I believe they could repurpose themselves, and I believe there's certain factions that's trying it. Now, I don't believe, I know. There's certain factions that's trying to push positivity. So can't say I can't say all black gangs aren't doing that, or individual.
Yeah.
Of course, I know a lot of individuals that's members of these gangs, and they not bad guys at all.
Yeah. And I also want to say this to be fair too, like some of it is circumstantial, yeah. Like,
Yes.
Like for example, like if you grew up in the hood and then it's like that's all you know,
Yes.
and it's like the way of life, then it's like, yo, you just in it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I don't want to just sit here and just like they're just this evil thing. It's all circumstantial.
Yeah. Definitely, it might be the outlook of your neighborhood. You definitely influenced of what you're around. I remember when Virginia had no gangs. They had territories or blocks. You get what I'm saying? It was It wasn't always gangs.
Like we just rep
in
the
Virginia,
hood,
or
like
you just
whatever
where you from.
apartment complex for example. Yeah.
And I think things did better when it was that way. You know?
I think I don't think like it's not, to me it's not totally a whole bad thing as far as like the way some people approach me about gangs, because what I see is the positive side is that there's some sense of group economics, right? So
if they looking at it like that, I guess to a certain point,
So group economics is group economics. So like if y'all partying and y'all going half on bottles, matching smoke, then
I ain't never look at it like that way, but that's a good thing. Yeah,
group economics is group economics. You gotta start somewhere.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying.
Yeah, I never looked at that. That is an ill way to look at it, though. For real, like we going on half on a bottle or a section or whatever. That is group economics.
Or like for example, if y'all take the time to study sign languages, and then on top of that, y'all choose not to say certain words, y'all got discipline.
Yeah,
it's a form of discipline. Now the question is like, how can we repurpose this discipline, these group economics, in ways that are conducive to y'all society? Because now, when people see y'all as whatever gang y'all are, it's conducive to the neighborhood. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So,
nah, that's a dope way to look at it. Damn, yeah. But nah, they definitely. I'm not a fan of the modern gangs, but how they started, I'm a fan of it. They started as basically revolutionaries.
Yeah.
Somewhere they fell off the righteous path, I truly believe, and they just need to get back on it.
I don't think it's too late.
There's a lot of things like the influx of migrants, like in New York, they raping everything, the migrants. So where's the local gangs at? Why y'all not checking them for coming in these neighborhoods, raping all these little boys and girls?
Right. I get what you're saying. You're saying like, yo, if you're gonna be violent, like be violent in a way that's productive to the people around you. Yeah, like don't
because that's what they was here for.
Yeah.
The gangs kind of started to protect their neighborhoods. Yeah, like the Crips and stuff. In L.A., they was formed to protect the black community because white gangs was coming in, hurting people and doing all types of things. Yeah. So the kids there formed this alliance. So now we're gonna protect our people.
Yeah, I think it comes from a lack of self-identity, because like you were saying, when you know yourself, then it's like you can stand in that, and then because I feel like that's where the power comes at. When you know yourself and you stand within your self-identity of knowing who you are, and not influenced by like other people, and you can stand 10 toes down. Because there's plenty of times where it's like there's this peer pressure of like especially in this day and age now with social media and everything going viral, and it's like yo, being that one person that goes against the crowd, even though it's a righteous thing, and then you don't get rewarded for your righteousness, like it makes being evil a lot easier, yo. And it's like, I feel like it's necessary that whenever something positive going on, I feel like if we got the power in some kind of way, we got to reinforce that. We got to say, hey, look, man, good job on this, and lift people up. Because if we don't, that's how people get influenced so easily to live that type of life. Because if you notice on social media, everybody getting rewarded for being ratchet. Everybody getting rewarded for saying the most wildest things. And it's like, yo, when do we stop being shock jocks, bro? Like when do we have more purposeful conversations to say, look, man, our communities are messed up. There's some things in the community that ain't right. And it's like, when do we look at ourselves and say, hey, look, I got this resource. I got this resource. I got this kind of power. And when do we come together and say, hey, look, with our actions and moving in our actions, we can really make a difference out here. Yeah.
When do we come together? When we forced to. It's going to be a point of time where we're going to be forced to. Right now, we think of individualism. We think as long as I got mines. We're the only group of people on the planet, which is foundational Black Americans. We the only people who think like that. Everybody thinks as a collective. We see our Latino people. Mm-hmm. You see they came here and took over this town in 10 years. Yeah. When I first moved here, it might have been 4 Latinos. And 3 of them was in my family. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying? Like now, they got half of the city. They have a whole business district, Williamson Road. Yeah, and they took over.
And I'm gonna also say this because this is what I don't like about Black people, right? And I'm saying this because I love y'all. We can't be too reactive about things, right? Because being too reactive about things make us weak. Like it doesn't show us forms of power. Forms of power is us being proactive to say, hey, look, I got these resources, you got these resources. What can we do to work together? And let me tell you why me and my wife are somewhat successful at what we're doing in our household is because poverty is making us the greatest team players ever.
Yeah. You seen like in the 60s, 50s, Black people was together. We was on some, yo, we both hungry. You know what I mean? I got the ham, you got the burger. Let's put this meal together. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. And but now we thinking like, I got this, nana and a boo boo. You don't got nothing.
Here's
what I'm saying.
Here's what I'm understanding now that you say that. They always push the agenda of money, right? Because if you push the agenda of money, that means we got to conform to your system, right? But imagine if we said we don't conform to the system of money, we're going to use our skills and the resources that we have and barter with each other.
Yeah. That's crazy. But right now, money is God. So most people probably on the planet, most people will do anything for money. When I hear people say that, especially young people, I don't trust nobody that'll do anything for money. Yeah. I don't even want you around me. Because if we get a big lick, I can't trust you. You'll do anything for the money. I might turn around, you blow my mata off. Yeah. Like, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. I found myself in situations that I never would have put myself in due to my desperation for money. So like.
Exactly. When I got locked up, it was over my desperation for money. If I would have just chilled, I would have never got locked up. But I was just my hunger pains was speaking for me. Yeah. So that's why I got locked up. But if I just chilled, it would have never happened.
Yeah. Sitting in front of a judge and saying like, what are you doing with those people? Like a judge tell you that in your face. And it's like, damn, like he sees my potential and it's like, yo, this desperation for money totally made me blind to my own potential, yo.
And if you just chill, the money will come to you.
like walking in our purpose, like with this podcast, and where you about to go,
yeah. The money would just come to you, and then when you look at it on the other side, it ain't enough money in it. The illegal money ain't enough money.
Yeah,
you can make more money in McDonald's in the long run. It's about the long run, because when you sitting in jail or the penitentiary, whatever, you start thinking of the small things,
right? That
you just can't get in there. But when you out, you got another day to think of how this is going to happen, how I'm going to make this happen. And I'm with having another day of thinking, right? Versus being in there and currency is honey buns and soups.
Yeah,
I'd rather be out here currency Ben Franklin and whatever else, Washington or whatever else.
Yeah, because let me tell you something crazy. Like, you know, I had some friends who died of gun violence, and I got some people who locked up right now because of some choices that they made. Yeah. And it's like, I'd rather learn from their mistakes for them having to go out and do it than me having to do it.
That's what it's about. I always say, man, every generation is the sacrifice for the next generation. So our parents was the sacrifice for us. So we the sacrifice for our kids. So we gonna tell our kids all the mistakes that we made. Nah, baby, don't do it this way, do it that way. Go to school for this. Trust me, you wasting your time over here. Go to school. You get what I'm saying? Now, it's still up to the kids to listen or whatever. But like I said, every generation, which we probably got, they dropped the ball with our generation, for the most part.
Our job is to push the culture forward by advancing them, by saying, hey, look, we already went through it, so you don't have to. If you listen to us, we going to save you a lot of time and advance you forward faster.
Exactly. Yeah. But you know, just like we was hard-headed, these kids is hard-headed. So sometimes you got to let them step out and bust their head and then come back and patch them up.
Right.
You know, get them now I told you so joint, and then now let's get it the right way.
Right. Man, we've been having a real good conversation here. I wish we could continue it, but we're gonna have to wrap this up. But I really appreciate you.
We can do a part 2 or something like that.
Hopefully, he gonna have me on his podcast.
Yeah. As soon as I don't know when the next joint gonna drop, but it's gonna be soon. I might start throwing out some joints from the archive.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna drop some new joints.
Well, y'all look out for new Wabu Order podcast. And this is me, JL Robinson, signing out with the No Name Podcast. I appreciate you for coming on, man. Until next time, peace.
We get down. If you want it, then we got it. We get the club popping, yeah, we sipping and we sliding. BOE Club Rockets, yeah, you know where to find us. Get it started on the floor.